Time for me to get my guests on the show. John Gloucester joins me on the show. He is the former Indian team physiotherapist. I am also joined by Indian cricket fans. Diya Kakkar, Rishi Chhabra will join me. John, first to you. You know, Kerry Packer said in 80s, big boys play at night. Would you say that, you know, phrase holds good even today? Big boys play tests at night?
Absolutely. You know, what goes around comes around, and we've seen some great spectacles at night in the one-day format in the past, and we've seen some great spectacles in the five-day format now in the evening as well. And there's no greater spectacle than, I think, Adelaide Oval in the evening with the sun going down, with the guys in white out there. So I think we've got a lot to look forward to. You led in talking about injuries. So some of the big boys that we talked about are not there. Some have been laid low, but this is a great opportunity for some of these young kids to step up now and look forward to participating in what I think the second biggest outside of catches. If not, as though we're all waiting. We've all been looking forward to this moment for almost a year now, and we're very, very excited.
John, I'll have to ask you before I go ahead to the others. You are an Adelaide boy. What is the unexpected that the Indian team may encounter in Adelaide during this test match? Because this is their first overseas test in the pink ball format.
Yeah, I think it's going to swing more than you'll ever see it before. You know, in West Australia, we used to have the doctor, the Fremantle doctor coming in the evening, which changed conditions significantly. In Adelaide, you've got a magnificent batting wicket. Even though it's a drop-in wicket these days, it's still a magnificent wicket. And because that one end of the stadium is still open, you can get a reasonable amount of swing in the evening as well. I don't think it'll seem as much on the Adelaide wicket, but it will definitely swing, and that'll test the boys out as the evening comes in. But she's a beautiful city. It's a great spectacle, like I said. And being an Adelaide boy myself, I'm super proud to see my two favourite teams going head-to-head on one of the most beautiful cricket grounds in the world.
John, would you say that the difference that we will see this time around is how the ball swings during the twilight period and how the batsmen, you know, cope up with the twilight period? That's going to be the key moment in the game every day.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. This is the real test for the young Indian lads. Technically, let's see who's still there through that period of the evening, because that's a real test. We saw it a couple of years ago when Australia first stepped up there against New Zealand, and everybody struggled except one guy, which was Usman Khawaja. And it's unfortunate not to see him in this squad. I thought he may have been a surprise call-up for this because of the way he managed those swinging conditions in the evening against those sides that he's played there. His record in Adelaide is unbelievable in day-night test matches. So, but I think they can go back and look at some of those tapes and learn just how he played the line of the ball in Adelaide. And I'm sure that these young Indian guys have gone back and looked at some of those old tapes of Usman Khawaja and his mates back a couple of years ago were dealing with that swinging ball.
Interesting. Earlier in the day, Virat Kohli had a press conference, and I asked him about what Greg Chappell has defined him, an Australian who is a non-Australian. Listen to what he said in response to that.
The way my personality and character is, I think it's a representation of the new India, and for me, that's how I look at it. In my mind, a comparison to me being similar to Australian mindset or anything like that. For me, it's how we have started to stand up as a team, as the Indian cricket team, and my personality has always been this way from day one.
Rishi, would you say Virat Kohli a representation of New India?
Absolutely. I think, you know, over the last few decades, if you see, Australia has been the dominant team. But on the other hand, in the last few years, we've seen how, you know, aggressive Virat Kohli has been on the field when it comes to verbal conversation with the opponent and with the bat as well. I think, you know, that up the ante, I think Virat Kohli has taken Team India up to another level, and he is a representation of the new India, definitely.
John, what about Virat Kohli is Australian? Is it, you know, his aggressiveness, or is it his work ethic that is a little different from all the other past captains that we've seen?
Yeah, I think you've put two of the key factors there: work ethic and aggression. That's probably what set Australia aside from the others over the decades prior. But fitness is number one for me, and I think that's what has now brought the gap closer and closer between these great sides, which I think is what Greg is alluding to as well. There was another great captain, which I think Virat can probably thank as well for changing the attitude of Indian cricket for all, which was Sourav Ganguly, with whom I was very lucky to have spent many years with. And I think that was the start of the new India. And I think Virat has embraced that component of Sourav's attitude towards the game and towards the opposition, and combined that with his fitness. And I think when you put those two ingredients together along the technical prowess that the subcontinent players have, I don't think you've left too many boxes unticked.
Would you then say that he is much like Sourav Ganguly?
Yes, actually, there's a lot about Sourav in Virat, which is wonderful. But there's also a lot about Virat that's not Sourav, which is also refreshing. So he's brought an element, I think, of a little bit of Dhoni in there as well. I think he's you can almost see a little bit of Rahul Dravid on occasion coming in. So I think he's combined some of the best elements of previous Indian captains and leaders within that group, and brought his own little flavour to that as well. And let's hope that his success continues going forward with a combination of some of the greats of Indian cricket all put into one melting pot.
Dia, coming to you, well, at that press conference, Virat Kohli also said, while there will be aggression, there will be banter, but there will be no sledging, which also perhaps means that they are not going to get personal when it comes to the rivalry. As a fan, are you looking forward to the banter, all the talk, all the chatter? And, Virat Kohli means aggression. And are you looking forward to the aggressiveness between the two sides when the test match unfolds?
Well, definitely, that's what a trademark of India-Australia series is, according to me. The sledges, the banters that we get to see. Last time I remember it was Spain and Virat Kohli, two captains, out there and, being all aggressive. I think that, that's what defines this series, this marquee tournament. And according to me, if that doesn't happen, then we are going to miss out on a lot of things, because this is something that, is a part and parcel of, what test cricket is. Because we have seen so many times Virat Kohli, whether it was 2012, 2014, we have seen that aggressive side of him. And I guess, with these few years, he has calmed down a little bit with his aggression, but we still see him, with that aggressive approach. But, at times, I think that he has calmed down a little bit. And if we don't get to see that banters, of course, miss that out. But competitiveness is definitely going to be there. I'm sure of.
Right. This will be his last game on the tour, and I'm sure Virat and his team will go all out to win. Though Australia can never be counted out, even if they are down. Thank you very much, John, for joining me on the show. Thank you, Dia. Thank you, Rishi. We will come back to you as the series progresses.